All right, welcome to bullwaves.org. This is Enda here with the weekend update. It's Friday, it's Good Friday. Praise the Lord. Jesus died for your sins. Believe in him and you'll be saved. But anyway, let's go on. I'm going to go through the markets and I'm going to go, the markets closed today. We're going to see what happened this week and kind of, let's say, put some context, put some bounds on what's happened. Okay, let's get into it. If you like what I do, check out bullwaves.org and become a member, and you get nightly Elliott Wave updates. All right, let's get into the markets. Hope you can see that there. Yeah, I think you can. All right, this is euro dollar. I've been counting 5 waves up. The idea this week is that wave 2 has begun. We've completed wave 1. If you go to the daily chart, you'll see that we have retraced the previous decline in wave C, so pretty typical. If you're looking for the beginning of the next wave up, we've got wave 2 done, and you will know that while we were back here, I was suggesting it was time for a rally. We got that serious rally. I think we're pretty much close. I think we're pretty much done in that rally. We've hit the targets that you would expect to hit, and now it's time for a reversal, I think. If we get wave 2 down, then we should probably target about 106, 107 area again over the next few weeks. So you can see about, between 50 and 62%. That brings us back to the previous fourth wave low. That gives us about 107.70. That brings us right into the kind of target range for a second wave. The only question is have we started that? Base case scenario is that we have, but I don't think a whole lot's going to happen today. Seeing as the US market is closed, I'm looking at a possible AB pattern to begin 3 waves down in wave A. So we've got wave C to come. So I've got wave A done, wave B done, and wave C to come. And we will see if that comes on Monday. So we should. I'm looking at the previous wave 3 high at 111.47 as a possible target for wave A down. I'm just so far I am apprehensive to, let's say, make big claims about this because it has dropped to a lower high, it doesn't mean that this is confirmed as the decline in wave 2 is underway. I'm looking for quite a large decline here. That's not even illustrated on the hourly count here. So wave C of 2 will be well down here. So there's more to come here before I can confirm it, but I do think if we get a drop into about 111.50, that'll be enough to signal that we're underway here. So look for that early next week. Wave C down to complete wave A, somewhere down around 111 would be great. Okay, let's move on. Cable. We've got a rally out to a new high. I didn't expect that. That's quite honestly a shock that we got a rally out to a new high. But I'm still tracking the same pattern. Even if we've got wave 1 done, and that's wave A down, and this is wave B up, then it's an expanded flat wave 2 correction. And wave 2 should decline. Let's say wave C of 2 should come back down below the wave A low. So about still looking for a break of 127 to complete wave 2. I don't think we're there yet. I do think that we have a solid 5-wave pattern higher in wave 1 done, but we just haven't got just that, let's say lightning decline here. That's not all of a second wave. It's just not. It's not enough. The rebound was too quick, and in fact, the rebound was way too corrective looking, even though we got to a new high. I think there's another leg to come, and that should come next week, I think. On the hourly count, still looking for that 5-wave reversal lower. Yeah, we're kind of flat more or less in the last couple of days. But I suppose that does, as you can see on the 4-hour count, it does say that we've at least got a momentum reversal going on. So the price reversal may come along with that down in wave C. So you can see here how hard it is to actually parse that out as a 5-wave structure. It's just there's way too much overlap, and it's impossible to do. I can't do it. Hence the reason why I'm still looking at a B wave high, and we should see a C wave reversal pretty soon. Okay, dollar yen. Uh, I have been looking for a turn up in wave one. Again, the conundrum for dollar yen exists, but nothing has happened to, let's say, unravel or reveal something other than a corrective decline in wave two. Um, you can see we've still got a wave one up. We've still got an ABC pattern wave two. Actually, I would suspect that this is probably a reasonable template for what might happen in cable. So just because we got a new high in wave B doesn't mean that we're not going down lower in wave C, which has happened with leaps and bounds over the last few weeks. Okay, if we go to the hourly count here, you can see a possible 5-wave decline and a 5-wave pattern within wave 5 of C of 2. So the reversal hasn't come. I thought that we might have got it late last week, but that came back to bite me. So we'll see how it goes. As long as 139.58 holds, and that's the previous low, then this main count will hold. So I'm not going to make any long-term decisions here. The long-term pattern still remains unless we break out of that pattern, unless we break that critical resistance there, or sorry, critical support at 139.48. I'll show you that in the 4-hour count, and that's back here, 139.48 on the hourly count. That's the previous wave 2 low. So if we break that, then something else is happening here, and I'll have to go back to the drawing board completely. There is obviously a possibility that wave 2, this is the daily count, this could be a larger wave 2, and if that's the case, then we have further down to go before we finish wave 2, and then we'll head higher in wave 3. But we haven't got there yet, so not entertaining that just yet. Okay, let's move on. Here is the Dow. Let's go to the 4-hour count here. We have still a leading wedge possibility here. So wave 1 and wave 4 can overlap in a leading wedge. So that's the base case scenario, that a leading wedge has happened. We've got an overlap. We're still working on 5 waves down in either wave 1 or wave A. It's the 4-hour count, a 4-hour chart here. You can see that the main alternative pattern here is that we have 3 waves down in A already done, that we have a possible 3 waves up in wave B already done, and that we should head lower in wave C. So that would be 3 waves down in wave A. They are, let's say, different, yet a distinction without a difference, really, in this scenario. Both counts here would call for another decline to a new low, down around, well, below 136. Sorry, excuse me, below 36,000. And that would be a complete of wave A. It would also complete wave 5 of A or wave 5 of 1. So you can see on the hourly count here, I'll show you, or I've shown it's either wave 1 or wave A. So things are complicated. They're clear, but they're complicated because there's no distinct pattern, let's say, come into view here yet. The price action this week has held a lower high. I've been kind of clinging to that over the last couple of days, even though we got quite close, early on in the week, but the price action did hold a lower high in wave 2. So I'm kind of sticking with that. The idea is holding that we could be turning down into wave 3. We have got a price decline in the last couple of days, which may be wave 1 of 3. Nothing is going to be proved or disproved today. We'll have to wait until next week for that. But if we do turn and continue lower in 5 waves, then I think that'll be wave 3 of 5. And in that case, we should probably challenge the previous low again, somewhere down around 37,000. I think even though that's, it is a long way down. It's 2,000 points, but we probably will challenge that previous low again, even in wave 3 of 5. So we're looking for a 5-wave pattern again. Simple. We'll see if that comes. If that comes, then it's another kind of notch along the proof text here, or the proof case. I will admit, that rally came back. That was a real short covering rally. That came back wickedly powerful. And maybe it does suit that B wave label better, but the main count has not been invalidated yet, so you can literally work with both in this case. But the fact that we didn't break to a new high this week, and we didn't break that wave 4 label or that wave 4 level, and we have returned lower into the end of the week, it does leave the door open for this main wave count, and I'm going to stick with that until things change. At the moment, if you go on the daily count, 3 waves down, either in wave A or 5 waves down in wave 1. It's pretty much targeting at least 37,000, or sorry, at least 36,000, possibly down below 35,000, and that would bring us back towards that previous wave A high. That's way back in November 22. So at this moment in time, we're tracking out a long road to nowhere. And if wave 5 does come and we do break that wave A low, it's been a real painful road to nowhere. But I think that will open up the base case scenario here, that we are heading into a major market contraction here, market decline. Okay, well, that might be for another day. We'll see how it goes. Okay, we'll move on. We'll go to gold. This is the daily count in gold. The rally in the last week in gold has kind of blown me away, to be quite honest. We did pop above the upper trend line here to complete wave 5. I thought the reversal off that high was a clear sign that wave 5 was done, and it was a nice impulsive looking pattern. More fool me, because that did not work out. We kind of, for some reason, the world decided to jump on gold in the last week and push it out to a new all-time high. I think you're going to regret that, but it does complete 5 waves up. It's a serious throw over above that upper trend line, above the upper trend channel line, to complete wave 5 in red. I can't prove anything until we get something to work with, until we get a pattern to work with. But if we drop back into this channel again, I think that would be a pretty solid indicator that the initial wave A decline is underway. You will see that decline will be probably back to that previous 4th wave low, so it'll be back below 3,000 again. That'll be a 10% decline in gold. And if that happens, I'd be pretty happy to call this long-term top here in wave 3 done, and we're working on wave 4 down. Nobody wants to hear that. Everybody loves gold. Go ahead. That's fine by me. Okay, I think for next week it's just seeing if we start reversing again. If we start giving up the gains, if we get back to that previous 4th wave low, then I think we're on the ball for wave 1 down. So let's see how that goes. Okay, crude oil. We had a bounce this week in crude oil. It's pretty corrective so far. It's reasonably corrective. We will see. Obviously, it's a reaction to that really sharp decline in the previous week. We've got a possible. There's 2 ways, obviously, of looking at this, but you could say that we have 3 waves up done in wave 4. I'm not going with that right now, and I'll show you the reason for that. I mean, you could say alternate count wave 4 is already done, and we're going to head down in wave 5. I'm actually not going with that yet. I'm going to stick with the kind of the more complex version for wave 4 correction here. You see that in the hourly count. So we have the initial rebound off the lows, wave A up, and then we have an initial decline in wave A, and then we have a 3-wave rally up to this lower high here. 3 waves within a trend channel screams B wave to me. So this could be wave A down, wave B up as an expanded flat, and wave C down to complete this wave B should come back below 58.40 again. And when that happens, if that happens, then we will look for a low in wave B, and the reversal higher in the inevitable rally then into wave C will come. So it's an expanded flat correction wave B that I'm looking for. I think the tell so far this week has been the fact that we've got 3 waves up. Even though we've reached a new high, it's still 3 waves up. So that's part of an expanded flat correction. And wave C down should break that wave A low, and we'll see how that goes over the next week. Okay, so the S&P, it's more or less the same pattern in the S&P. We've got the alternate count is 3 waves down in wave A. We're working on, or have worked on, or are complete in wave B, and then we should head lower in wave C. The main count suggests that we're working on 5 waves down in wave 1 or wave A. So, see, the thing about an A wave, it can be in 5 waves or it can be in 3 waves. There is no, let's say, indicator to pinpoint that until the wave is actually finished. So we'll see how the kind of psychology develops. Here's the 4-hour count. That'll be the B wave scenario. So we've got wave A down, B up, and wave C down. That completes wave A. The rally into wave B so far has retraced above the 50% retracement level. So if this is wave A down, then 3 waves up, and wave B has already retraced above the 50% retracement level. And then you would look for 5 waves down in wave C, and that's to come in this case. So I'm kind of doing like, 50, it's choose your favorite pattern here. If you like the 3 waves down idea, then you stick with that. I mean, 5 waves down still fits. We would look for a decline into wave 5 of 1 or A anyway. So it will be a 5-wave decline in wave C or a 5-wave decline in wave 5. One or the other should bring us to a new low. The last couple of days has been lower, building lower highs again. The reluctance to accelerate lower is kind of playing with my psychology a little bit, but nobody wants to let go of a bull market ever. So, why would you expect it to be any different right now? So I would expect wave 5 to come down and fill out this channel again, so you can see the trend channels there. If we do get a 5-wave decline, it should drop back, towards 4,400, I think. Minimum target, a break of 4,800. And we'll see, will wave 3 of 5 come on Monday? So that's the outlook for that. Let's move on to silver. We've still got that 1-2 scenario going on here. Again, an extended rally in wave 2, but I think it still fits a 3-wave correction higher. So this is wave 1 of 3. This would be wave 2 of 3, and then we get for wave 3 of 3. That would bring the largest, let's say, destruction in the decline. So idea being that we turn into wave 3 this coming week, and we've got, here's the 5 waves down in wave 1. This is 3 waves up in wave 2. We've got wave A, B, and then wave C traced out 5 waves. So we've got wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We've failed so far just below the 78.6 retracement. So we could be turning into wave 1 down again. So look for 5 waves down. A break of 30.78 at the wave A high for wave 1. The initial decline in wave 1. So we'll see how that works early next week. And maybe we'll do the FTSE, or not the FTSE, the NASDAQ as well. Someone's screaming at me there. Just look at the FTSE. Okay. There you go. I think that says it all. Where are we? NASDAQ daily. Again, we topped out in that 5-wave pattern, and we've turned down aggressively. We have broken the previous 4th wave low. Now this can still be wave A down, and wave B up is underway or has completed. and then we'd look for wave C down. So again, it's very similar. It's all the same market, really, to be quite honest. So we've got wave 1, 2, and 3, possible fourth wave. I know we've got the wave 1 and 4 high overlapping, so it's not a standard pattern, but you can look at it as a leading wedge or an expanding wedge to decline into wave 1, wave 5 of 1, and then we would expect wave 5 of 1 to come back next week, and we would retrace back below the previous low at what's that, 16,300 or thereabout. So wave 5 down should target a break of the wave 3 low, so that's about 16,300, and then from there we'd look for wave 2 up. So we'll see how that goes. And that's the major stock markets done, more or less. We're in a holiday weekend, so it's Good Friday. It's the end of the week. There's no trading today. I don't know how next week is going to go. Obviously, I can't tell the future. The one thing I do know is that everybody's actual future ends in one thing, and that is your inevitable shuffle off this mortal coil. We do love to kind of come up with ways of saying dying or mentioning the concept of death or the reality of death in very flowery fashions. We just don't want to deal with it, I suppose, as humans. And if you are a human that is convinced that everything just popped out of nothing, you believe the scientific impossibility that all came from nothing, well, I'm sorry, but you're breaking every law of physics right there. And, everything cannot come from nothing. So everything has to come from something, and if there is something that created everything, then there is an unmoved mover. There is someone, some being that has created everything that looks at you or that is staring you right in the face. Like, go look a puppy in the face and tell me that nobody designed a dog, or look at a hawk and tell me that nobody designed a hawk, that it just fashioned out of oblivion. It just came out of oblivion. Even if you look at a snail, humans couldn't even make a snail. We couldn't possibly make a woodlouse or a snail or a centipede or nothing. Simple little things. We can't make them. So the Creator made them. God, our Creator, made them. And He made you. And He knew that we would fail because we are creatures made to love our Creator. So we chose not to, even though it is against our let's say, eternal well-being. We do choose, as humans, we do choose to disbelieve, to not believe. And that is part of free will, because we were given free will. And the only way that you can actually love freely is if you have free will. So if you choose to look to your Creator and follow Him, well, then there is a way. We are still sinful beings. We cannot have, you have to go a level deeper. We cannot have fellowship with a perfect, sinless God unless we are perfectly sinless ourselves. And you just try that for 5 minutes and see how it goes. It's impossible. But there is a way. God made a way. And He spoke about it through His scriptures. Prophet Isaiah, I have on the screen here, he wrote about it. Notice that it's in chapter 53, 5:3. 5 is the number of grace. In the scriptures, 5 denotes grace, unmerited favor. And 3 denotes the triune God, the Father, the Creator, the Son, the Redeemer, and the Spirit. the Comforter. So 53, the grace of God, 5:3. And Isaiah, I'm just going to read this chapter and that's that. And you make the decision yourself. You tell me who Isaiah was speaking about. Who has believed our report? This is 1000 BC, by the way. Or about 800 BC. Who has believed our report, and whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? For he grew up before him like a tender shoot, and like a root out of dry ground. He has no stately form or majesty, that we would look at him, nor an appearance that we would take pleasure in him. He was despised and abandoned by men, a man of great pain and familiar with sickness. And like one from whom people hide their faces, he was despised, and we had no regard for him. However, it was our sickness that he himself bore, and our pains that he carried. Yet we ourselves assumed that he had been afflicted, struck down by God, and humiliated. But he was crucified for he was pierced for our offenses. He was crushed for our wrongdoings. Punishment for our well-being was laid on him, and by his wounds we are healed. All of us, like sheep, have gone astray. Each of us has turned his own way. But the Lord has caused the wrongdoing of us all to fall on him. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like a sheep that is silent before its shearer, so he did not open his mouth. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. And for his generation, who considered that he was cut off from the land of the living, for the wrongdoing of my people, to whom the blow was due. And he was given his grave was assigned with the wicked men. Yet it was with a rich man in his death, because he had done no violence, nor was there any deceit in his mouth. But the Lord desired to crush him, causing him grief. He renders himself as a guilt offering. He will see his offspring, and he will prolong his days. And the good pleasure of the Lord will prosper in his hand, as a result of the anguish of his soul. He will see it and be satisfied. By his knowledge, the righteous one, my servant, will justify the many, for he will bear their wrongdoings. Therefore, I will allot him a portion with the great, and he will divide the plunder of the strong, because he poured out his life unto death, and he was counted with the wrongdoers. Yet he himself bore the sin of many, and he interceded for wrongdoers. And the gospel is, if you believe in the Lord Jesus, you will be saved. God came down, paid for your sins, and if you believe on him, you will be saved. And that's that. And it's Good Friday. It's Resurrection Weekend. On Sunday, we celebrate the resurrection, the end of death. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.